It is episode 680 of the WCB Podcast. A little confusion here with the numbers in the coming weeks, just so you guys are aware. I think on next week's episode, we'll also call that 680. But because of politics and voting and stuff like that, we moved this episode in front of that one. So there was enough time for educational purposes for, well, what is it? I'll tell you right now. First of all, shout out to John and Howl For Wildlife for coming out. But so this is episode 680. It'll be Prop 127 in Colorado. We talk all about that on this episode, so keep that in mind. If you live in Colorado, definitely listen. But yeah, interesting stuff. This is one of the few episodes where we'll talk politics in a little more detail because it pertains to hunters directly. So that being said, we hope you enjoy it. Hopefully you learn some stuff. I think there's a great opportunity to join Hal and Pope and Young in here for what they offer in memberships, and I have all that linked in the episode description for you guys just to make it easy. So it's worth checking out for sure. Right now in the studio, it's we're on time of recording. It's the first major cold front in October. I'm here getting this episode cranked out so it can launch early in the morning now for your listening pleasure. And I'm going to go back out and hunt. I'm going to hang Hyperlight setup and just see if we can get some deer moving with this cold front here in Illinois. So that being said, the podcast is brought to you by Big Time. We got a cool Big Time video coming out. I did like a quick tour of my food plot and kind of showed off some of the things we did and how we set up the grizzly blinds and stuff like that. So that's coming. Huntworth, I'm rocking Vertec. Got that going right now in the stand for sure. Heat boost, especially. It was 28 degrees here when I got in the stand this morning in Illinois. Code WCB15 saves you some coin at huntworthgear.com. I've been using their suspenders on my saddle also to help set up. So think about that. Something cool. Old Barn Taxidermy. Obviously, if you shoot something, you want to get it mounted, go to Old Barn, tell them WCB sent you. Trophy line. I've been a Novix and trophy line fool the last few days. I've been hunting in a saddle, out of a stand. I've been hanging echoes. I've been hanging helos. I've been hanging all sorts of stuff. I got Novix double setup stuff. I got trophy line, just Hyperlight, all the stuff. I'm mobile as I can be right now, and I'm enjoying it. Code WCB at both those mobile hunting companies. I know they probably don't prefer that I mix that ad for this, but because I'm so in it, that's where my brain is. Legitimately, those are the two brands on my mind right now. The most, because it's the tool or tools that get you where you need to be to do what you want to do, which is what I'm going to try and do today. So, yeah, that's awesome. Trophy line, Novix. You can tell my brain's not all the way here on this intro. I'm drinking Mountain Hot Ignite from Mountain Ops, and I'm getting all wired up and ready to go. All I can think about is hunting. Grizzly coolers and box blinds, code WCB. That company is pretty much going to take over the world. I think if you're in the market for a cooler or new drinkware and you're not looking at Grizzly, you need to look. They're awesome people. They're based out of Iowa and they put out a top-notch quality product, from duffel bags to hunting blinds to coolers and drinkware. They have it all and they're great. They're just great dudes. So code WCB at Grizzly. Blackgate trail cams are off the charts today. Mine are getting wore out from going off all morning with this cold front. Beautiful. I was texting Ryan from Blackgate. I'm like, I just want to let you know I fucking love your company and I love the product. Like, I'm obsessed with the Blackgate app. Like, I'll wake up in the middle of the night excited to see what deer on the app. Special announcement, details to come. January 25th in Winchester, Ohio, we're doing a WCB and Blackgate party. I'll have more information. Rumor has it Cody Christian's going to be playing, and there'll be tickets for sale. And I'll keep you guys in the loop on that, and maybe we'll do something exclusive for our Patreon community and all that. Also, another thing to announce, speaking of Patreon, we're going to give away the carved Halloween rattling sheds on Patreon. I think I'm going to open it up for everybody that's on Patreon, a member there, just a way to give back to that community that supports us. And we should always do more for them, but that'll be a nice little perk. Where are we at? Blackgate, Black Ovis, and Camo Fire, code WCB. I basically get my Crispies, my Solomons, all my footwear, and then some off of Black Ovis. You can use code WCB on anything on Black Ovis, and it also works on sale items as well, so an additional 10% on sale items. Deercast is getting used a shit ton right now. Their wind feature is badass because you can kind of like see how the wind blows through an area and scroll through your time to see how the wind will change. That's crucial, I think, in mobile hunting. At least it is for me. I like to know where I'm setting up, what the wind's going to be doing, and how to navigate it. And DeerCast basically allows us to do that at 1,000-foot view, so you get that big visual. Loophole Optics, of course. Aluma Trailers, alumaklm.com, made in Iowa, all welded aluminum construction. They're badass. I'm so tempted to put my new Grizzly blind on my Aluma trailer and leave it in the field, but I'm so scared that it'll get stolen because they're just badass trailers and badass blinds. But man, it would be such a Cadillac setup. But we'll see. I might have to do that if I can't find a cheap trailer before it really gets good. Victory Arrows. I'm rocking the VAP SS's this year. Dialed Archery. Have you seen the new Proof? That thing is badass. We have some on the way. Still rocking the Arxos, of course, with the WCB Void Dial. Rumor has it we might do a Void Dial for the Proof. We'll see. Code Working Class saves you shipping at Dialed Archery. Rogue Ridge e-bikes, Rack Hub. Code WCB at Rack Hub. Basically, an alternative taxidermy option if you're not rolling the Old Barn for a full shoulder mount. Rack Hub offers great mounting options and shed antler mounting options with the RH1 and the RH2. And Slick Trick Broadheads. So that'll do it on this intro. I hope you guys have been enjoying the cold front. If you weren't able to get out, looks like it's warming back up for us here in the Midwest. Relax, plenty of time, and then it'll be time to throttle in all out and put in for those PTO days and those vacation days. We got some Buck Story episodes coming from listeners. Invited a few of them in that have been longtime supporters, so that's coming down the line, and we have a lot of fun episodes coming, and we're going to mix in all the deer updates that we can, even if we got to do it in the intro before the main episode. So there's my updates. Best of luck to all you out there hunting. Shoot straight and enjoy this episode.
I'm Chase Rolfson with Rubline Marketing.
This is Jeff Lindsay.
This is Michael Pitt.
Hey everybody, it's John Dudley from Knock on TV.
Hey guys, this is Jared Scheffler from Whitetail Adrenaline.
Hi, I'm Taylor Drury from Drury Outdoors.
Hey, this is Nick Munt from Bone Collector.
Hey, this is Melissa Bachman.
Working Class Bow Hunter.
Working Class Bow Hunter. Working Class Bow Hunter Podcast.
Working Class Bow Hunter Podcast. Working Class Bow Hunter.
Working Class Bow Hunter.
Working Class Bow Hunter.
You're listening to the Working Class Bow Hunter. That's right, this is a podcast for Billy Joe Lunchbucket, the working man, just like me and you. My name's Travis T-Bone Turner from the Bone Collector. Thank you for tuning in.
Nobody pushes the envelope like Working Class Bow Hunter.
It's really not that good.
Those people on that pod, those hosts are a little unhinged.
Working Class. Working Class.
Working Class Bow Hunter.
Episode whatever it is of the WCB.
Oh, here we go again.
2 weeks in a row. Keep it rocking. Episode whatever number of the WCB podcast. Kurt Geyer speaking.
Eric Hammond.
Doug Schmidt.
Good to see you, boys. Our guest of the hour, John Stallone from Howl For Wildlife. Thanks for being in here.
Well, thanks for having me. Appreciate Thanks for coming.
You're an OG in the podcast game.
Yeah, I am.
We were just talking. You're the first outdoor podcaster, right? Or second?
Well, I really don't know if I was first, second, or third, whatever, but I know for sure I definitely wasn't first because there was a guy, I can't remember his name, but he had a podcast that you had to download to your iPod called Blogging the Outdoors.
Okay.
And I always thought it was cool. And actually my cousin Fred, who at the time was working for me, he was like, dude, we got to do this on the hunting channel online. It's got to be part of the membership. And I'm like, all right, cool. Yeah. I mean, I always saw it as a way for me to like learn from people who knew better than me.
Yeah.
And I was like, all right, yeah, shit. Let's interview people. So it was
Hey,
actually
why
called
not?
Interviews with the Hunting Masters originally. And then I did it for like 6 or 7 years. I don't know. I always forget. Took like 2 years off, and then I brought it to the masses. And actually, no, I had to have been doing it for longer than that because it was like 2015 when I brought it to the masses. I brought it on like Apple and
Yeah.
on Podbean. And I because I had the name and I had all those back podcasts, those back episodes, interviews, and I started off with interviews with the hunting masters, and I think in like 2019 or 2020 I changed it to the same name as my TV show. I had a TV show for a long time, or online TV show for a long time, and the same as my my guiding business, which is Days in the Wild. So
Yes, that's awesome. So you were like so ahead of the game that it probably, I imagine you didn't get a ton of listens then because it was so like unheard of, or I guess availability to get it was limited, right?
yeah. So, well, when it was on the hunting channel, so at the time, I mean, there at some point we had like 12,000 members. So it was getting, 8,000 to 9,000 downloads a month.
Yeah, that's awesome.
Yeah, it's awesome for right now.
And like I said,
For
I was only doing,
06.
yeah, I was only doing one a month, and you either had to stream it right on the website or you had to physically download it to an iPod.
Your iPod. That's hilarious. I haven't heard the word iPod in
Right?
forever.
Because who's using
They
iPod?
even make them anymore?
I think they do, actually.
Yeah.
They still make them.
Yeah.
Honestly,
I mean, I wouldn't mind having that little nano thing.
yeah.
Go in with or whatever.
But honestly, I remember just having the one with the scroll wheel.
yes,
Yeah,
that's what I had.
yeah.
I want that back because I mowed lawns forever to get that thing.
Oh, yeah.
But I want that back because I can take my music and then I'm not like out of habit scrolling Facebook and whatever.
You're doing music and only music.
That's it.
Yeah.
No death scroll on Instagram.
Yeah.
Right.
Just, dooming. I just want tunes and podcasts.
Yeah. Yeah.
Maybe there's something
Bring
to
it back.
But my phone's buzzing. Yo, I think it's awesome, dude. Like 06?
Yeah.
That's crazy. Ahead of the game.
Yeah. So then when I brought it to the masses, I changed it to one a week. And then actually I did 2 years. I was doing 2 a week.
That's a lot of work.
It was.
That's what we've been doing up until
Crazy. I couldn't do it
the
anymore.
last couple weeks with season. We dropped down. We do Mondays and Thursdays, but it's a ton of work. But well, moving on, man. There's a lot to talk about on this one. A lot of important issues, and I see you a lot online with Howl, and I want to get into that first and kind of dissect backwards from there.
Sure.
And I know it's going to go all over and
Wherever it goes.
Open platform here at WCB, so run it like it's your own show if need be.
I'll try to sound as intelligent as possible. Like I said, I've been going since 4 o'clock this morning.
Oh, dude, you're with a
Just
bunch
came
of
out of a 4-hour drive.
You're with a bunch of cavemen here, man. Bush Light fuels our thoughts and controversy.
I think if I had one of those, it would put me out to sleep. Right now.
Okay. We can mix up a mountain ops and something for you if you want to get crazy. But yeah, man, what is Howl and how? Just give me the whole rundown on that.
Sure.
We'll start there.
Well, Howl is a platform that provides the tools and the information for average people, average hunters, to have their voices being heard on policy that affects wildlife management, the ability to hunt fish, and anything kind of that parallels that conservation type stuff.
Yeah.
In the past, you had organizations would be like, go contact your senator or whatever,
Right.
or your
Local representative or whoever.
Yeah, and you're like, okay, who the hell is that?
Right, right.
Yeah.
No idea.
It'd take you 35 minutes to figure out who that was, and then the problem with that was, does that person actually have anything to do with this policy that we're talking about?
Right.
9 times out of 10, no. So what we did was we kind of made the easy button for people to get involved. If you go to the Action Center on Howl, you click on an action, whatever, they're trying to get rid of, deer hunting in Illinois, right? Okay. What
the hell?
And
Yeah. Which
And,
seems crazy, but is it?
no, it's not crazy, actually. And we'll get to that. So you want to oppose that. You're a deer hunter. And you go in there and you click on it and it gives you spells out the policy in layman's terms and gives you all the points. And then at the end of it, you could put your name and your email address, phone number. Sometimes it asks for your physical address, depending on where the decision makers are and if they need that. And then there's an email that pops up, and that email is something that we physically go in and we upload thousands of variations of. Like every single, so it's a lot of work goes into setting up an action. It's not like, hey, just throw it up there.
Yeah.
Right.
So there's a lot of research that goes into it, a lot of time and effort gets it set up. And so that email, it not only does the email have variations, so does the subject line.
Okay.
And that email goes directly from you to the decision makers, whether there's one decision maker or there's 150 decision makers, it goes to them directly. So it's an email coming from you to them. There's no mention of Howl. It's not coming from Howl.
Gotcha. Okay.
So it's very
It
powerful.
doesn't look automated.
It's not a canned email. It's not a
A newsletter.
form letter or whatever.
Yeah.
So it comes from you directly to them, and it says, "Hey, I oppose this or I support this," and it's also editable. Did I say that right?
Yeah. I mean, makes sense to me.
Okay.
You can edit it.
You can edit it. You can go in there and actually add your own spin, or you can add your own words, and that's makes it even more powerful. Hey, I got 4 kids and I want them to be able to grow up in hunting and whatever. So that is like the crux of what Howl does in a lot of ways, but we do so much more stuff,
Right.
Yeah, yeah. But that's
Howl
a
in a
big though, because
nutshell.
that's the bridge between like people like us that are, we make fun of ourselves, say we're like cavemen, it's like we might not have time to find out who we need to get a hold of or whatever, but like you said, the easy button, it's the bridge between people who are doing it or people who are affected by whatever bullshit is going to happen or not happen or whatever. So that's nice. Okay, that's good to know. Good information.
Yep. And then, so some of the other stuff that we do is, we have a program that we're putting together right now. It's still kind of we've been doing it like in a grassroots level, but we're actually putting together this whole program called Hunting is Human. And we're going to be bridging the gap between hunters and non-hunters and letting them understand what hunting's about so that they're not so quick to
jump against it.
Yeah, because
they're like the fence riders, basically, is what you'd call them. They're kind of straddling both sides.
There's 5% that are anti-hunting and 5% that are hunting. So there's 90% in the middle. And that 90% in the middle is the power, right? Really, because that's the majority vote right there.
Yeah.
And it's always, I don't know if it's been a race, because I don't think that the hunting world really grasps the idea of it, but anti-hunters have always been dealing in this realm of public perception. They've always been trying to paint the picture of what the hunter is, this toothless hillbilly, willy-nilly going out shooting shit.
Elmer Fudd type guy.
Elmer Fudd, drinking beers, driving
Doug has the
pickup
Elmer
trucks.
Fudd tattoo now on his butt, for the record. So
Nice.
That doesn't help.
It's on my ass.
Sorry. But yes, I know what you're saying.
But,
That's true.
I mean,
they're villainizing us.
they are villainizing us. And if you look at anything mainstream, think of any movie that can you think of a positive movie?
No,
that's
they're
about
all,
hunting?
no, not at all.
I mean, like Wolverine, the guys are going to rape a girl or whatever, and he like kicks the hunter's asses, and you know, there's so many like
always the
Bambi,
bad guy.
like it's
Fox
always
and the Hound. I mean,
yes,
on and on and on.
We're always the villain, never the hero. And so, Hunting is Human is a way to combat that and actually share the truth behind what's hunting, what conservation is. Not just the money, not just the efforts, but the human intrinsic values that come along with hunting. The camaraderie, the meals, the connection we have with the earth, the love of and stewardship of the animals that we pursue.
Yeah, that's the most misunderstood part, I feel.
Yeah. I try to put it to words. I wrote an article on my blog called The Hunter's Paradox. And I try to, and I think I'm a little bit more well-versed than some people. And I had a really, really hard time trying to put it into words.
Put it into words.
Like, how do you love something that you ultimately want to hunt and kill and eat?
Yeah, it's
very difficult.
It's contradicting on paper.
Yeah.
But I think the way I always, and I think I must subconsciously say this from watching like a speech Steve Rinella gave. It's like it's not about the deer, it's about deer.
Yes.
Yeah.
I've used that example before.
Yeah.
It's about,
he did a really good job.
It's the idea. Yeah, he was talking to like a vegan guy, right?
Yeah. He was on like a book signing or something.
Yeah. I remember that.
By the way, coolest non-hunting vegan dude ever to like hear him out.
Yeah. Sure.
So wherever that guy is, shout out to that dude.
Yeah, right.
He's definitely listening.
Yeah, he'll listen for sure. Maybe now. Maybe
you never know.
He does. You know. But anyway, sorry.
No worries. And then the other big thing, there's a lot of little things that we do. A lot of we're constantly getting involved and being part of coalitions and trying to help sway policy. And I'm going to say help sway policy. It's not like me. I'm the vice president. Charles Whitwam is the president. Mike Costello and Everett Headley and Logan. They're all board members, and it's not like we're out there, lobbying and fighting for our rights.
Right.
Yeah, I know what you're saying. Yeah.
We're out there, mostly bringing education to us, to the hunters, so that we can have these fights.
Bring it to our attention, really.
Yeah, exactly. And which kind of brings me to the last major thing that we do is we act as a conduit to bring national attention and funding to state level issues. So Colorado, which is one thing that we were talking about offline here. Colorado's faced with a hunting ban right now.
Yeah, let's transition to that too through this here.
So they're trying to get rid of mountain lion, bobcat, and they got lynx on there, which we don't hunt lynx, but mountain lion and bobcat in this hunting ban. Okay. And
completely
like the whole state
gone
or
completely.
Everywhere.
No, in just in state of
Colorado.
So what we did was CRWM was the C4 organization that was spearheading that fight against it. And if we left it with just them, more than likely it would have kind of stayed at state level and maybe trickled out a little bit into the West, and that was it. Well, we had Dan Gates, who runs CRWM. We had him on like 74 different podcasts across the nation. We did a lot of outreach, which I want to come back to because it sounds great, but I honestly, I got a little bit disappointed when I heard the final numbers just recently. But because of that, we got donations come in from all 51 states.
That's good. And surprising a little bit, maybe, or no?
So when I heard that, that was like, that to me sounds great, like amazing. But when it came down to it, I think there was only, and I don't know the exact number, so I'm not going to say a number because I feel like it's going to, but the number of the money that came in from individual donations was very disheartening, very disheartening. It might have been in like $5,000 or $10,000, something
total
low like that. But we created the roadmap, which was great. And this is the first time we're trying, we're a new organization and we've only been around for, it's going to be 3 years. And a lot of what we're going to hopefully talk about today is why it all matters. Why should a guy in Illinois care about a guy in Colorado? We need to draw those connections and understand why that's important. But anyway, so we do this thing for Colorado, and now they're unfortunately it's going to be on the ballot and they're going to vote on it here in November. Originally, we were trying to fight it to avoid getting it there. It was an initiative, and now it's a ballot. It's a ballot measure. It's ballot 127. So anybody in Colorado listening to this, vote no on 127 and talk to all your friends and family that don't know anything about it, that don't hunt, whatever, in Colorado, and make sure that they vote against it.
Do you know how it's going to be worded on the ballot? Do they show that?
Yeah.
The wording of it.
So we did fight. And I say I didn't do it. CRWM did it. They fought and got the words trophy eliminated from the title.
That's important. That's
huge.
Super important.
Because
First of all, that's a complicated word.
Well, yeah. So just so you know, like they just did last year they did a poll or a study, and every 4 years this study gets done, but for some reason it got done after 2 years. And when you put the word trophy in front of stuff, it goes from like a 70-something percentile approval rating down to the teens.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I can totally see that.
So yeah, getting rid of the word trophy did wonders. But there's still trophy in the language. So like if you open up the Blue Book and you go through there, they can't do anything about the language. The language is the language. And the scariest part about that language is if we read it, anybody in this room reads it, what they define as trophy hunting is really just hunting. Mm-hmm. So if it passes, now they have legal precedence to take that language, superimpose it on
whatever they want,
and plug in whatever species you want.
Yeah.
And now they have legal precedence to get that removed. So that's one of the reasons why, there's other large reasons why they try to, they go after lions and tigers and bears. Oh my.
Yeah. It's just like people don't care about deer. Well, they do care about deer, but socially it's like shoot deer. Nobody says anything. Post a picture of a dead mountain lion. Mm-hmm. Look out. A bear. Look out.
Megafauna. Yeah.
What's crazy is they included lynx, which you can't even hunt.
Yeah.
So it's just ignorant.
They use that, and I've heard the term, and Dan uses it a lot, is the red herring. It's like a kind of like a not really a decoy. I'm trying to how do you put that in words? It's like a it gets people where you don't look into it, you don't know that you have there, but it kind of gets people emotions going about it.
Well, yeah, because a lynx is like a lot more of a I don't know, like a mystical creature almost,
yes,
you know
exactly.
what I mean? Than a mountain lion or whatever, It's
exactly.
Like, no one sees a lynx all the time or whatever.
Yeah.
And that's why they're on the endangered species list
right.
or protected. But
interesting. Okay. So the jargon, you guys, seeing how it'll be. So it's like, it's not, I don't like trophy in it at all.
Yeah.
Because it's like, I've heard people say, well, I'm against trophy hunting. It's like, well, what does that mean? Because would you rather me just shoot anything or would you rather me shoot selective older animals?
Well, that's
what it is.
So I wrote an article about that too. There is a, years ago, the word trophy, it was just really in the hunting space.
Yes.
And when you use the word trophy, I said it to you, you understood that I meant the most well-respected, largest, oldest,
sure.
Specimen of that.
You selected
species.
the best one you could with the position
Right.
you were dealt. Yeah.
Even the fish and game and wildlife, entities out there, they use the word trophy to define units. Oh, it's a trophy unit versus an opportunity.
Oh, interesting. Yeah.
Okay.
And it's because it's managed for trophy, meaning it's managed for an older age class, managed for a higher, what's the word I'm looking for? A better experience than just your normal, hey, over the counter, go, grab a weapon.
What's the replacement word?
I don't know yet. I really don't know because I've been very, very apprehensive about using the word trophy because when I use it, obviously I'm using like we all
know what you mean. Yeah. We're not.
I'm not saying I'm going out there just to lop off the head of this animal and keep its antlers as a
trophy room. That's all you're doing
exactly.
it for. They don't. Yeah.
Yeah. So there's a lot of negative around that word trophy, and that misconception, it's like misinformation. Honestly, I think the world as a whole, that's our biggest problem as a world. I mean, let's take hunting out of this. Let's look at broad politics in general.
Right.
Yeah.
Bad information is what is killing us all.
Yeah,
for sure.
Because
100%.
It's a disaster.
And the way information moves now, where you see a little 10-second clip on freaking TikTok and you're like, oh yeah, I'm going to go buy that.
I'm swayed.
Yeah, exactly. Or, that's the new,
By the
I'm
way,
at
this is
fault.
one of the rare moments where we do talk politics on WCB. I try to give
Yeah.
everybody a break, but this is like where it's ultra applicable to just like we need to get into it.
I don't want to get. Believe me, I'm not. I'm very. I was never a political person until I got a little bit into this hunting politics.
Well, we need guys like you to be.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because not everybody has the physical and mental capacity to look that far into stuff.
I don't.
Here's the thing. All I know is I like to hunt, and it's like my hunting and family is the only things I really care about.
Right.
Yeah.
So there you go.
I was that way too forever. I wish I was still that way. I mean, almost. I wish I was blissfully ignorant of what was going on. I tell people all the time, "Hey, I'm going to be 50. Like I'm not a young kid anymore."
Mm-hmm.
And I'm not doing this for me.
Yeah.
I mean, I can hunt my years out. I don't.
Right.
And really, realistically, maybe my kids could too. Like I don't know. They might be able to. So what am I doing it for? I'm doing it for the next generation and next generation and next generation. There's a Greek proverb that like captured me many years ago, and that Greek, and it says, loosely translated, is society gets better when old men plant trees of which they know they will never sleep under the shade or rest underneath their shade. And it's like,
So true.
every time I say it, I get a little my hairs on the back of my neck stand up.
Mine
'cause
did
it's
too.
like,
It's like, ooh, that's
Yeah, that's cool.
it's because I'm not doing it for me. I know, like, honestly, hopefully I got another 25 years in me.
Yeah.
25 years in me of hunting. Hopefully-
Enjoyable hunting.
Hopefully a lot more than that in life, but I don't know. It was with all this stress that I deal with on a day-to-day basis. I might be dead in a week. Who knows? But I'm doing it because I know what hunting did for me.
Mm-hmm.
I know what it did for me as a kid. I know what it did for me as a young man. And I want that to be able to move forward and keep going.
you care about it.
It's not just the hunting too. It's the wildlife. I know how wildlife is connected. I have a degree from Colorado State in rangeland management and ecology. I have a certificate from Penn Forester for forestry, and I have a certificate on deer steward from Clemson. Like I know enough to be dangerous. I haven't practiced, being a wildlife manager or anything like that in many, many moons. But I know that if you take away hunting, what it does to conservation, I know what it does to wildlife. And we say this all the time at Howl For Wildlife, that anti-hunting is anti-wildlife, because if they were to succeed and remove hunting, if like had a magic wand, like everything would fail.
Everything.
Yeah, it's really interconnected in a deep way.
Yeah.
I kind of took us off of the Colorado thing a little bit, but
No, that's all right.
That's
I think
right.
it's all noteworthy stuff. So I just pulled up. I'll link this in the episode description as well. This is one of your write-ups from August 7th.
Mm-hmm.
Talking about the Colorado situation. To me, it's crazy because I don't know. I guess it's crazy, but I'm not surprised, especially with Colorado. And it's like, when I think about Colorado, I haven't spent a ton of time in Colorado. I've hunted elk in Colorado. I've been through Colorado.
Mm-hmm.
I like to think it's all critically thinking, informed people. And then I think about the transplants that are in Colorado because of, we all know, and we've all, over the last, 10 years, there's been a lot of people moving to Colorado.
sure.
And
Same with Arizona.
yeah, I bet too. And
It's changed a lot.
and parts of Wyoming and
Montana for sure.
in Texas even. And it's like, that worries me because you talk to, when I think Colorado, straight up, I think of hippies in Denver. And they were like, what, besides California, the first state to legalize weed, which is just like, with that comes certain types of people in the stereotypes. Stereotypes are there for reasons.
Sure.
And I don't see them wanting mountain lion hunting because they don't know They've never thought about it.
Yeah.
It looks bad to them on paper,
That's just it.
and that's it.
They don't know.
They don't know.
It's a giant cat.
Yeah. I was saying before, our biggest threat to society is this misinformation thing. Mm-hmm. And the only way to combat that is literally the hardest thing to do, which is education. Because not only do you not have the ability to share the nuances of that situation in a quick way, especially the way we share information now.
Yeah.
And you got to have that person has to want to spend the time to learn it.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah. Well,
That's probably the
I
hardest
just
thing
picture
there because
them
they don't want to learn
Yeah, they
it.
don't even want to look at it.
Well, here's the thing. I think what's sad about, all right, a couple things. I'm going to lose track of this because I'm a caveman brain. I feel like in general politics, you're misinformed one way, and the only way to combat you being misinformed that way is to misinform you so far the other way that it causes you to countersteer real hard. Doesn't it seem that way a little bit?
Yes.
I mean, maybe.
In a way.
But
I mean, lately, honestly, I feel like I'm living in a freaking movie when it comes to like politics, like all the shit that's going on. Come on,
Right.
like
yeah.
It's crazy that these things are going on, and people are like, "Oh yeah, it's not going on. We're just
Yeah, we're on the verge of a lot of things.
Blinders on.
yeah." Well, it's crazy. I mean,
Well, it's like Rogan on his episode. I don't know if you listen to Rogan, but they talk
I
about
do.
like what's going on with this season in America.
Yeah.
Like America's like the TV show.
Sure.
And you're watching episodes play out.
Sheesh.
Like this season of America. I mean, if it was a sitcom on Netflix,
Yeah.
it'd be the best series ever.
Oh, yeah.
Hell yeah.
Everyone would watch it.
And you'd be like, wow, this is crazy.
What's going to happen next?
Hope this never happens, but we're living it. But isn't mountain lion hunting banned in California?
it is.
Still actively, but
It is. And guess what? So it's actually coming up now that they're talking about possibly. I don't know enough about it because I'm not. Charles and Mike both live in California.
oh, they do live in California.
So because it's so close to them, they're like in on it.
Mm-hmm.
There's been a number of, I mean, it's been going on for years that there's attacks and deaths and whatever. So
People's dogs and cats,
all the time,
everything,
all
else.
the time. But there's a specific county right now that is like, I mean,
Just like booming.
you can't
With
even
cats?
like walk down the street. It's like seeing stray dogs in Mexico or something. you know?
Really?
It's like,
kidding.
Shit.
Well, there's no threat to them.
yeah.
They're the boss.
Yeah. So California, the anti-hunters love to point to California, but California is such an excellent example for our cause.
Yeah.
Number one, the killing of mountain lions never stopped. Now what they did was they took it out of the hands of hunters who were willing to pay for the opportunity to go harvest the lion. And that meat was utilized, the hide was utilized, the skull was probably kept,
Mm-hmm.
Now they have government shooters shooting the mountain lion and it gets thrown in a dumpster.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. So they didn't protect mountain lions from being killed.
For ranchers doing it underneath the table to protect their livestock.
Right. Yeah. They didn't stop any of that. And so, and historically since the ban's been, they still shoot about the same amount that they were allowing in a quota back then in the 70s.
What
Now the quota would go up, would definitely go up because I don't know what the estimated amount is in California right now, but it's really high. I do know what the bear estimated population is there. It's 70,000 freaking bears.
You can bear hunt in California.
Yes.
Still, yeah. Okay.
Yes. You could spot and stalk bear hunt.
You can't bait.
You can't bait. You can't run hounds.
Crazy.
But anyway, so I think in that article, I point to California because they talk about, hey, if you remove, there is no public safety benefit to having hunting. And like California, because it doesn't have hunting, is it is consistently the number one state for human lion negative interaction, for lion domestic stock deprivation, lion and pet, kills.
Mm-hmm. Which is a bummer to see because
Yeah.
there's so much. You can Google security cam footage of lions jacking golden retrievers out of backyards.
Yeah, my wife
comes from
sends me
California.
crap all the time, like a reel of, oh, look, it's, this guy person's
Fluffy.
cat or this. Yeah, exactly.
It's sad, but if it doesn't go that way, all them hippies or shitty dogs are going to get pulled over fences by their collar by lions in time, and it won't take long.
Yeah, for sure.
I mean, that's a bad way to word it, but I'm just being real. Wash your feet and vote right, hippies.
Yeah. Well, the biologist
So that we
in
protected
Colorado,
you.
I've heard different numbers being thrown. Of course, it's all speculation, but it's not really speculation. It's like an educated guess. They would imagine by the next. So there's about 5,000 lions in Colorado right now that they estimate. They figure by the next election cycle it'll be 7,500. So that's a 50% increase.
Yeah.
And then you just introduce
In 4
wolves.
years.
Yeah, and you just introduced wolves.
Yeah, can we talk about that too a little bit?
Guess what's that going to do to the rest of the population of animals?
Yeah, exactly. But nobody cares about that because we're
Right.
saving cute and fuzzy lions.
Yeah, look at them out there.
What a complex.
You're not going to see them until it's too late.
Yeah, until they're on your back.
Oh no.
Until they're stealing your dog out of your backyard.
Yeah, what have I done?
Right. Colorado is going through it, huh?
Yeah.
Because the wolf thing, when did that happen? It seems like so recent. but-
So the law got passed in 2020 during that election,
oh,
4
shit.
years ago already.
and the first wolves were just reintroduced at the beginning of this year.
Okay. Hey, stay this way if you're going to lean, just for camera
Sorry.
purposes. It's all,
Gotcha.
You're all good. Just, you look great, and I just don't want you to leave it in the frame. So it passed in 2020, and they just did it at the beginning of 24.
Yeah. And so the great thing about that, or not great thing, I think it's a great thing when you look at it from, put it to this
God, you got to be so
perspective.
careful how you talk about things because
Yeah.
you may not mean it, and then you're clipped.
Right.
Saying something you don't
I'm
mean.
already shadow banned and
We probably are too, man. We drink beer and say the F word.
crazy. Like, I can't even tell you. My engagement has gone down so much in the last year because I've gotten involved in politics. But
And they're suppressing your voice, basically.
oh yeah, yep, all the time. So the wolf initiative, Colorado lost, or people who didn't want wolves lost that by 33,000 votes. It was like 1%.
Okay.
Okay, so 1% divided yay or nay,
Whoa.
which is very close, obviously, right?
Very close.
And this is what gives me hope that even though we're faced with a bunch of crap going on, like we didn't kind of get into that. There's a lot of, and it would make me sound like a real defeatist if I kind of went through it all with you, but there's a lot of things that were constant obstacles that are coming up in this campaign, and some misdealings and whatnot, how it was handled, that is making it very hard for us to see the goal line. But 33,000 votes, and there was like 40 something thousand hunters that did not even register to vote.
Damn.
Why do you think that is?
Because hunters suck. We suck.
Yeah, that's fair to say.
We're
I mean,
seriously the most apathetic people in the world.
Mm-hmm.
I do this on a daily basis, and I feel like I'm hurting kittens. I love us. I mean, I've been a hunter since I'm 5, man. I'm like,
yeah.
dyed in the wool hunter.
Yeah, you're not faking it. Yeah, break that down a little bit if you don't mind. Like, okay, because someone's going to clip that of you saying hunters
Sure.
suck, but we're all hunters.
Yeah.
Why do we suck? Because I know where you're getting at, I think.
Okay, so I just mentioned to you that I thought we had this giant momentum going. We had 51 different people from 51 different states, and it was kind of underwhelming. Well, I'm gonna give it to you from directly from Hal's perspective.
Okay.
Our biggest problem as hunters, we only get involved in things that seemingly affect us.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Okay.
That's like human nature type stuff.
It
probably at a
is,
base
but it's
level.
more so in the hunting world, I think, more than anything, at least that I've seen. But I don't have my hands in a bunch of stuff. So, from Hal's perspective, we've been able to move mountains with thousands of people, but there's 16 million hunters in the United States. 14 to 16, depends who you talk to. I'm going to use 16 for this discussion.
Yeah.
I like 16 better.
Yeah.
And we have 50,000 members of Howl. Every time we put up an action, 1,500 to 5,000 people get involved. We have 50,000 members. Don't you think 50,000 people should get involved in every single one?
Right.
Don't you think that 16 million hunters should be part of Howl, especially when we offer a free membership also? What does it take? Put your freaking name and your number in there.
God, I'm not a member, bro.
It's okay. It's okay because
I'm gonna be right after this.
Yeah.
Okay.
Trust me, all of us
we
have
want
put
you
our-
to be paid memberships because obviously the money, helps us keep the lights on. Like I don't take a dime. Charles, I'm here this is my own, whatever, luckily I'm going hunting after this. So I was able to justify it to myself. But
Yeah.
if I just came out here to be on the podcast, there's a couple $1,000 right out the door.
Yep.
And, Charles, he's he was the main driver behind it and he's the guy that came up with the inner workings of the site and all that. He put up like 30 grand to get it all up and running. And I don't think he still hasn't completely paid himself back.
It says a lot.
So, it's like, well, anyway, I don't want to go down there. I don't want to keep going down that road. But we are very apathetic. We're very, hey, if it affects me, like, hey, I'm telling you you're losing, or I'm telling you that I'm losing deer hunting in Arizona. Okay. You're going to feel bad for me, but you're like, that's not my fight.
Yeah. Oh, that sucks.
Yeah, it sucks for you, bro.
It seems
fist
so
bump.
far away.
But let me, this is a perfect time for me to explain this. And I'm going to say it a couple times. We're all in this shit together. We are all in this together. And
We really are.
Yeah.
there's a lot of different ways. I'm gonna give you an example, and we'll use Colorado because of that's going on here, and we could kind of keep with that theme. All right, so I'm a lion hunter in Colorado, and just keep this in the West to make it a little bit easier for you guys to understand it. You guys live in Arizona, okay? And you're deer hunters in Arizona, and I'm a lion hunter in Colorado. Let's say they win. I'm making a bunch of noise here. Sorry, guys.
No, you're fine.
No, you're good.
Let's say they win in Colorado and I lose lion hunting. We have this, we'll call it the conservation table. Okay. Hunters are the largest stakeholder, the largest voice at the conservation table, even though we don't occupy the largest part of the population. Like I said before, we're only 5%. But because of the North American model of conservation, it's a user pay system. The money, the things that we do that are associated with conservation, and we have the largest voice. Okay. And anti-hunters are always, it's this voice that's the most important, is the anti-hunters are always trying to minimize our voice. That's why you'll see, like, they kind of figure this out in the last few years, that they started introducing bills. And I keep using these two examples. I don't even know if they're still around because I haven't looked at them in a while, but there was a bill called RAWA. It's shortened. And then the other one's called the Grasslands Act. And at face value, even hunters were like all on board. Oh yes, cool. That's more money for, restoration and habitat development and yada, yada, yada. But if you looked at it, they were using those things and they supported them because it took money from the general public to put into these things. Now, the reason we had this voice at the conservation table is because the vast majority of the funding that goes into wildlife restoration, conservation, yada, 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 comes from hunting. Comes from tag sales, Pittman Robertson, donations, you name it.
Yeah.
All the things that we commonly know of.
Yep.
Right?
They kept the weight behind us that way.
Sure.
Yeah.
So they're always trying to minimize that voice. So let's go back to my example. We lose mountain lion hunting in Colorado. That's all I do. I only mountain lion hunt. That's my stick. I don't deer hunt. I like mountain lion hunting.
Yep.
Now you just lost me. You lost me physically. So you lost my physical voice and you lost my funding.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. So that minimized our voice at the table. Now, let's say you guys want to come to Colorado. You want to go deer hunting in Colorado. Well, more lions means less deer.
Yeah.
Less deer and less elk, less sheep, less all of that means less tags, less opportunity.
Less money for the state.
Less money for the state. So, and if you really look at it, it kind of steamrolls and it dominoes because, okay, let's say right now we're selling 100,000 deer tags a year. Well, because we were getting, let's say, $1 million from lion hunting. I'm just arbitrary number. Okay. Now that $1 million is gone, that $1 million wasn't spent specifically just on lions. It was spent on water catchment development and land acquisition and whatever. That $1 million is not there. So now the deer are not only going to suffer because there's more lions preying on them, they're going to suffer because we don't have as much money to do what we're doing. So initially it goes down because the lions are taking out deer. But then it goes down because now there's less deer and now there's less funding coming in from the deer. And it just keeps getting worse and worse and worse and worse and worse. And eventually you get to these things called predator pits, which I don't think would happen for a long time in Colorado. But if you could look at like BC or, you know, places in Canada where there are a lot of predator pits because they got grizzly bears and lions. And
I've never heard the term predator pit.
Man, it's really hard. There's a guy, the guy who designed was like the main craftsman of the North American model. His name is Valerius Geist.
Sick name.
Yeah. Dr. Valerius Geist. He just passed away recently. I think it might have been from COVID. I don't remember, but it was in the COVID era. If you look him up on YouTube and look up Valerius Geist and predator pits, I mean, it's a long kind of drawn out sit, but it will really, basically what happens is you get into these areas that are void of prey and there's only predators. And then it like starts this vicious cycle that it's almost not impossible to get out of, but it's very difficult to get out of.
Interesting. Okay.
Yeah.
Just because there's so many predators.
Sure. Exactly. And even the predators are preying on each other.
Right.
So, and I'm definitely not the guy to lay it all out for you, but
I've never heard that term.
Yeah.
So I haven't either. Was curious.
And you'll hear that from anti-hunters all the time. Oh, just let it
work itself out.
Yeah, exactly.
We're part of the system.
We were always part of the system.
Right.
We're animals too.
We're not aliens. We've been on this planet since as long as they've been on this planet. You know?
Predators as well.
Exactly.
Yeah, it's just because we have, some people, maybe animals have critical thinking, but they don't have critical thinking like we do.
No.
Just because we have critical thinking doesn't mean we're not part of it.
It is our duty as the intellectual beings of this planet and the biggest consumers of this planet to conserve our resources.
Keep everything balanced.
A lion doesn't know it needs a tag to go shoot, to go kill an elk.
Yeah.
It doesn't know.
Yeah.
Right.
It's going to keep on killing to feed itself until there's no more. It doesn't know like, oh shit, well, we got to back up.
Yeah.
Because
We filled our quota for the season.
Right.
And no killing deer for 4 months until opening season.
Exactly.
I don't be called a poacher by my friends.
Yeah, right. Yeah, I don't want to be hated on social media. Don't lions. I mean, I know I've killed a mountain lion in Wyoming, and I learned a lot by talking to those guys. And when I shot my lion with a bow, they're like, "Hey, man, you just saved 52 deer this year and this many possible elk." And they were telling me and this, I'm just talking to guides that I'm buddies with.
Sure.
They're like, they kill roughly a deer a week.
Yep.
And then some elk in there and whatever. And in the valley the canyon I killed mine in, we found 3 dead elk in the same canyon.
Yeah.
And not fully eaten, like quote unquote wasted.
Yep.
Yeah.
Well, see, a lot of what happens too, and especially if there's a high bear population. So bears, and I know this study was done in California, bears will steal 70% of lion kills.
Really?
70%. So every time a lion kills a deer, he's got a 70% chance that he's going to get jacked by, black bear.
So now he's got to go kill another one.
So now he's got to go kill another one. Exactly.
Whoa.
Because it's easy for a bear. I
lions
mean,
and wolves had that same thing too. So the lions will actually kill a deer and leave it for the wolves so that he can be left alone to go do his thing.
And go eat.
Yeah.
And maybe this is like going to the wolf thing. Don't wolves fun hunt?
That's why people think they fun hunt. But yeah, it's actually the lions that kill. I don't know enough about it. I'm not a biologist.
It's interesting though to think, because I always heard, and this is me from my idiot brain, lions and tigers fun hunt.
Yeah.
And not that I'm not saying they live in the same region. I know.
Sure.
But,
they're the same.
But they always say, but how fun would that be for a wolf? Or if you were a tiger, it'd be pretty fun.
Right.
Like that's your fun.
Yeah. I mean, I've witnessed it with like raccoons and chicken coops and stuff like that, but I don't think I don't have firsthand knowledge of wolves or coyotes or bears.
If we were any other political group, we'd be like, they fun hunt. They just misinform.
And that doesn't do us any good.
It doesn't.
No.
It doesn't.
No.
But that's something I was going to get to earlier. Is I think hunters are one of the few groups where we don't misinform for our benefit, and we're hunters. I think in general, like with Howl and other organizations, we operate off facts,
right?
And what it is, and this is it at its baseline, and we don't. There's no propaganda from the hunter's perspective that I can think of.
And there's a lot of things that we don't do. We can make that comparison. Like we don't go troll anti-hunting websites or people's profiles and be like, call
just
them
whatever
out.
they say to us.
Exactly.
Yeah.
But going back
Death
to what I
threats.
was saying, I think I just realized that I took us once again took us off on a tangent.
That's all right.
How
what we do here.
what the apathy does to us, like why hunters suck, why we suck at being. So, I said there's less opportunity for us. And if that's not, like a compelling enough reason, there's so many other reasons. Like, let's take Pittman Robertson. Okay. If I stopped hunting lions, okay, maybe I don't need bows and arrows or guns and ammo anymore. So I'm not buying these items. So I'm not paying into Pittman Robertson federally. And if you think of Pittman Robertson's a big pie, and I don't know what the number is this year. A couple of years ago, 2 years ago, it was 1.5 billion. So I'm going to use
If I
that.
could pull that up.
I'm going to use that number right now because that's what's fresh in my head. If you lost lion hunting in Colorado, and again, arbitrary number, let's say that number, and you lost the lion hunters and they're no longer buying that stuff federally, let's say that number went down to 1.485. That pie just got a little bit smaller. So when it comes time to divvy up that pie and give my piece to your state, it just got smaller. So it just affected you directly. Like it just, and then we talked about that language, they could transpose it and they could come to your state. It also sets, legal precedents in other ways for them. Even if it didn't have that language in there, they could come to you and come to your state and say, okay, well, just like they're doing what you're trying to do with California. Well, they pass it in California. Look at how freaking successful it is over there. But it's
how
not.
great it is.
Right. So
For a little side note here, just type in Google. Pittman Robertson, 23, 1.2 billion was apportioned to states and territories in 23, which was a record-breaking amount. This was an increase from the previous year's record of 1.1 billion.
Okay.
So 1.2 billion.
1.2. Oh, where the heck did I get 1.5 from? Oh, well, I like 1.5 better.
1.5 sounds sick. Maybe that'll happen in 24. Hopefully,
Yeah.
But honestly, that makes, dare I bring up the upcoming election for president? It's like all the tax stuff that Trump's talking about.
Mm-hmm.
It's like that's more money in people's pocket to spend more money on hunting shit, which increases that number.
Sure.
Which vote for whoever you want. I don't know. That's the way I think of it. But I'm a caveman brain. Maybe I've been kind of skewed to vote that way.
I don't know.
What is the way to vote for hunters?
Well, you definitely not voting for blue in this situation.
Yes.
Well, I mean, just to give you an idea, the Biden administration they just closed, or had a hand in closing down like, I don't know how many million acres. I want to say 10. I might be completely off base, but like 10 million acres in Virginia.
Really?
Because of the hurricane, and none of that area was affected.
So what the fuck are we doing?
Zero. And all those people that bought licenses, they can't return them and get refunds. They
the
just
fuck?
can't go hunting.
Why? I don't get it. That's the thing I don't understand about politics. It's like, why?
Yeah.
like,
So
how's
I
that
don't
allowed to
know. Like,
happen?
I want to give them the benefit of the doubt that it's just, government oversight. Like, hey, we're trying to do something good, but we're not thinking.
They don't think that's the problem.
So I don't know. But listen,
Yeah, right.
I'm definitely not the guy to talk to about, mainstream politics, but I try to when I cast my vote for stuff, I try to vote for the things that are important to me.
Mm-hmm.
And
everybody
I
should.
hope, and that's the whole thing. We were talking about this earlier. Like we don't look past the headline. Most people don't. I don't. A lot of times,
90% don't.
a lot of times I don't, unless it's hunting specific. That's the only time I like really look into it because I have a passion for it.
Yeah.
But I mean, realistically, we should be doing it. The shitty part is that I don't think our politicians look. I know they don't. Okay, so
Well, first of all, they probably don't have time to.
the reason why Howl got started was there was a bill in California that was going to eliminate bear hunting. And Senator Weiner was his name.
Nice.
I know. Awesome. He was petitioned by HUSIS, Humane Society of the United States. And they were, and politicians do what politicians do. They want to look good. They want to get reelected. They want to try to do what's best for their constituency. Excuse me. And, they brought him this thing. They said, hey, if you get rid of bear hunting, you're going to be very popular. Okay. And we ran this poll, and the poll says that 85% of Californians are against bear hunting. If you turn out and you go look at the poll, okay, the poll says, are you okay with hunters lopping heads off and leaving them out in the woods? Are you okay with shooting sows with cubs? Are you okay? All the things that hunters would be like,
yeah.
No, I'm not. No, I'm not.
Yeah.
So, of course, 85% of them, Californians. So there's this, like I'm giving him the benefit of the doubt.
Right. I see what you're saying. Yeah.
He backed away from it, which was great. But they presented him with all this BS, all this propaganda.
Good job, Mr. Weiner.
And he's like, okay, cool. I'm gonna back this bill. And literally within 5 days, when we first got started, we started at change.org, and Charles actually wrote up this freaking beautiful thing talking about, about the bill and the benefits of hunting and yada, 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 that even anti-hunters were signing on to it. They didn't even know. That's how good it was written. But it was, once he got all that feedback, like, oh shit, there's this many people that are against it. I'm not going to touch this. In 3 days, he had like 25,000 people tell him, we want bear hunting.
Awesome.
Yeah.
So he dropped it, and that's how we won. And that's how that was the fuel to start what we have now is Howl. But, and I forgot where I was going with this.
Well, we're talking about why hunters suck again.
No, but we were talking about.
We always go back to that, don't we?
Yeah.
Well, I mean, it's all important. So we're on track, but we're not.
Sure.
But yeah.
Sure. No, we were talking about how even our senators and stuff like that, they don't really look
past headlines.
They don't look past the headline. And I don't know. It's just, like you said, they don't have the time. They don't have whatever. And it's like, okay, but you're the guy that's supposed to help us direct policy.
Yeah.
So
It's your job also. Yeah.
Yeah.
You
right.
should have,
True.
that should be your only time is for that. Also, I'm thinking about me being a politician. I don't have time. I couldn't be one, so.
Yeah, I mean, it's a freaking terrible job. Who the fuck would want that? I wouldn't want that job.
No,
I wouldn't want to be the president of the United States.
Hell
no.
Come on,
Can't
deal
pay
with
me.
all that criticism all the time and having to make decisions that could affect you. Like, oh God.
That's what makes
It
me.
could affect everyone.
Yeah.
And listen, like we don't ever. I mean, we say jokes about like obviously everyone who listens on a regular knows who we're voting for, right? But it's like we never tell anybody how to vote. One way,
well, you
whatever.
can't.
But it's like if I see someone that everybody is trying to push out, and the dude's took a bullet and he's doing all this shit and he's still striving. To me, I'm like, that's our guy.
Right, exactly. There's a reason. Right?
There's a reason. What's going on? Why is he like fighting for us?
Trump, I voted for him last time. I voted for him the time before. But I've said this a million times, like, is he the best man for the job? I don't know.
No.
Because
I'll say it, but I'm voting for him.
I'm voting for him too, because he's definitely the lesser of two evils by a long shot.
Vance rules. I think Trump rules. Trump is just...
He has no bedside manner, and he has no tact, like when it comes to talk. And the problem is when you're a politician, you have to sugarcoat it.
Yeah.
Right.
You have to wipe everybody's ass.
He don't do that.
It's like, you know,
Here's
and
my
he does
thing.
none of that.
The way that everything's popping off in the world right now, I want a dude that everyone is terrified of.
Yeah.
I want a bully that has American people's back, and I want everyone to be like, I'm not fucking around with that. And then I want Vance, who's charming and articulate and is just calm, cool, and collective. That dude, I don't know if he hunts. I think he does hunt. He just did some stuff with SCI, I believe.
Did he? Okay.
I just saw, which rules. But that guy, man, I don't think Buck Fever could hit that guy.
Yeah.
He's just like,
he's
stud.
Cool as a cucumber.
Yeah. So anyway, that's what we're
now we're talking about this. I was a little upset that he chose him, not because I don't like him. I think he's freaking great. I think he'd make a great president eventually. But tactfully, I think he should have grabbed like a Tulsi Gabbard or something like that.
I always thought
RFK, because
RFK rules.
Because I mean, they're both, and they're all very smart, and they all know their shit. But it from a tactical standpoint, I thought those were smarter.
I thought he'd do like a Candace Owens, because it would just like.
I think she's too young.
Oh, is she too young?
I believe so.
But like smart,
but
pretty black woman. That's like smart, pretty, and black. Like that's you know, that just throws the other side like, oh shit, what do?
We can't complain that you're a rich white guy anymore.
Yeah, only thing would be better if she was a lesbian.
Yeah, exactly. I always tell people I wish I could come back as a gay black man.
But you can be a gay black man now.
Not true.
If you want to be.
Yeah.
You know? I always thought it'd be rad if Trump came
no
out
offense
as a
to
woman.
gay black men. I'm just saying. I feel like what used to be probably the hardest thing to be alive as. I mean, arguably.
Yeah, you want to be a gay black man in 2024, not 1924.
Right.
Well, not even 19.
Anything.
2018, maybe even, right? You know, but
yeah,
like now you could say and do whatever the hell you want, and if somebody was to challenge you, you're wrong.
But I think we're just in this limited time, and
I don't want to get
the space and time where you're just you can do that now.
That's a long road.
But like, I just saw a video today, and I'm not an advocate for bullying, but I am sometimes, and I'll admit that. But it's like someone just sent to me, they're like, the world's coming back, and it's like this clearly man who's dressed like a woman wearing cat ears and a cattail down the street.
Oh God, yeah.
And it's just these two dudes filming them, and they don't say anything to him. They're just laughing over the top audibly, and there's no words exchanged, but it's like you could tell the dude was embarrassed just from laughing and no words that he clearly is dressing like a cat.
Right.
And it's like the world's coming back.
Yeah.
It's like, yeah, because I don't want my kids at school with the dude who thinks he's a fucking cat.
And he's shitting in a litter box.
You know? And if I'm wrong for that, cancel me.
Yeah.
Right.
You know?
I've already been canceled, like I said.
Oh, brother, I'm right behind you, dude. I have no chance at being in anything political office from things I've said on the podcast.
And we have no chance because of what he said.
Yes.
Just being around it.
By association, you're done.
That's so true.
That is so true. That's so funny.
Yeah, 100%.
Because
Yeah.
I was going for that, you know.
Oh, man.
As a plan.
I'm writing that down. That's funny. But anyway, sorry to go off on a side tangent, but I feel like that's important too, though. Like the main, the big election, I guess.
It brings us to where we are. I mean, so if you take what you see in mainstream politics, the anti-hunters are following that very same playbook.
Mm-hmm.
Let's just throw a bunch of freaking bullshit out there and see what sticks. They've been, like I said, they've been dealing in the arena of public perception since before Bambi, way before some of us were even alive, I guess. And it's a hard thing to combat because we don't have the opportunity to have those, nuanced discourses with people. We can't like physically, well, I guess we can physically do it. That's probably the only way that we can do it. But with the way information flows on internet and, TikToks and Instagrams and Facebook.
Yeah, it would never get to them.
It's not going to get to them because nobody, hell, how many captions do you read? Probably none.
Not many.
Here and there, unless you see like a really cool deer or something, you're like, oh, I want to see if this guy gives up where the hell this was at so I can go hunt there, kind of shit. But, and I had this conversation with people all the time because, and you brought up Matt Ranella and Hunt Quietly.
Yeah, in our intro. Yeah, he hated us a little bit.
Yeah, I'm not of the camp of don't post grip and grins, I feel like the only way that we come out of this is not going back into a corner and being recluse. And
that's always been my perspective on it as well. You need industry in hunting to keep the voice of hunting and money in hunting.
But you got to do it in the right way.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
So, because right now, everything that we put out there, it gets weaponized. And especially with all the AI shit and all the crap that's out there, it's so easy for them to just like, oh, okay, that's a picture. So, this is a great example. A guy that I'm friends with on Facebook posts a picture of a fawn laying next to his Glendale buck he had laid down because he didn't want the bucks to come destroy it when he wasn't shooting at it. Lays this down. And he goes out there to go shoot and he sees this little fawn laying there. So he takes a picture, puts it up there, tells the story. Hey, look at this fawn. It's so cute. He thought, he was just laying here next to it. Anti-Hunter gets a hold of it, puts this completely different story up. Where have we gone wrong in life that this baby fawn is motherless and thinks that this
oh my God,
fake deer is its mom? Like, okay, so how do you combat that? I don't know. I don't know how you combat that, but I know that we need to be the best versions of ourselves all the time. And I really have a hard time doing that. Like back in August, I shot a bear, and I've always been of the camp of like, I don't hide my fuck ups,
Yeah. Honesty is always the best policy.
I always try to put stuff out there so that people can learn when I make a mistake and when I do things right. So I end up losing a shoulder, and I didn't keep the hide. I wasn't going to keep the hide anyway, but I didn't get the hide, but I didn't get the head either. So I lost a shoulder, but I packed out the rest of the meat because I ran out of water. It's a big story, whatever. You want to hear the story, you can listen to my podcast. But I put that out there, and it got taken out of context, and all of a sudden I'm the freaking worst guy in the whole world. And so you always got to be careful how you put things out there. And I'm not saying walk around on eggshells and people like, oh, you're going to placate to the snowflakes. Da, 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 da.
Yeah.
No. Because to be honest with you, most of the hate I got was from hunters on that particular.
We have a similar example.
Mm-hmm. So that's a whole nother story. But anyway, my whole thing is you want to be an ambassador of hunting. You want to be a steward of what we do. When you put out a picture, not every, like we just joked around about it. Nobody reads the caption, but do your best to put the best caption out there. Explain the situation, what went into it. If you got pictures of you packing out the meat or processing a deer or making a meal from your harvest, put it with that.
Yeah.
Tell the whole story.
Try to tell the whole story, because that picture doesn't have. It's just a glimpse in time. Mm-hmm. Like it's literally the moment, the culmination of all the things that went into it, and it signifies the end of something. Like it's not even.
Yeah.
It's not hunting, and we get shit on all the time as hunters because we're, high-fiving and excited and woohooing, emotional, crying sometimes, laughing, whatever. After we kill something and it comes off to somebody on the outside looking in as
morbid or emotionless. Or,
yeah,
or
like,
not emotionless, but
this guy's happy that he
morbid
just killed something.
yeah, they're not empathetic.
But they don't understand that you're just like, oh my God, this just happened. I spent freaking 2 years chasing this freaking deer, and how many hours and fights I had with my wife, and
I spent 2 years selectively hunting for this one mature animal. And
right,
finally
exactly,
came to fruition.
exactly,
Yeah.
or whatever the case may be. I mean,
Whatever your goal is, yeah.
whatever the goal is. I mean, I spent 7 weeks hunting elk in the mountains, and I was doing 8 miles a day, and
No one sees that though.
no.
Yeah, it's hard.
And they don't
Yeah,
know
no
what
one ever
went into
sees
it.
that
They
or
didn't see
hears.
the 2-a-days at the gym leading up to it, and all the all the physicality and the practicing with the bow in the morning, all these things that go into it. So they don't understand that there's a lot of things that hunters take for granted that non-hunters don't know.
Yeah, it's so true.
I mean, we were in last, or actually it was this February, we were at the Mule Deer Foundation Expo. And we got into an Uber like 3 or 4 times, and as a group, Howl For Wildlife did, because we had a booth there. And every time we got in the Uber, we would engage with the driver in discussion, and none of them were hunters. And we found out none of them knew anything about the tag situation. They thought you just went to Walmart, bought a gun, went out in the woods, shot something.
Right.
The ones that did know about a tag thought that a tag signified a dead animal. They didn't know that there was, like, I want to use Colorado. Okay. Colorado, it's 9% success rate on elk. 9. That's pretty low. If I told you, hey, give me $790 or whatever that tag costs, and you can go inside Whole Foods and you have a 9% chance of coming out of there with food, you wouldn't freaking do that.
No. Yeah,
Right?
it's a good way to put that.
That's what we're doing. We're paying for an opportunity. I think bow hunting across the United States as a whole, that's including all whitetail and stuff, I think it's like 24% chance or 24% success rate.
At a deer.
At a deer.
Not.
And I passed 3 of them dead on the side of the road.
Right.
You
got better odds than shoot or hitting with your car.
Yeah. So
guaranteed. Yeah. I mean, well, not guaranteed, but for sure. Yeah.
People don't understand that. They don't understand that there's rules and regulations. They don't understand that you eat it.
Right.
Okay.
Yeah.
How many times you talk to a non-hunter? They're like,
a lot.
do you eat it?
How many times you talk to people that are like, I don't really like deer. It's like, then you feed them chili with deer meat in it. And they're like, this is good chili.
Yeah.
It's like, yeah, there's deer in it, you dick bag. And you didn't even know.
If you don't even tell them,
You just say,
I think that's a preparation thing.
yeah,
I didn't like deer as a kid.
Really?
And I think it's because the way my mom, God bless her, and she's not that she's dead, but she's an excellent cook, but game meat was always like overcooked, like super cooked, cooked until you couldn't recognize it was still meat. Kind of cooked, So like when we killed deer in New York when I was a kid, I was like,
Yeah.
and it was always like killed with like onions and garlic and whatever.
Yeah.
I couldn't stand it.
I get that too.
Kind of like a
Well, I know people
culinary snob now. So
right now in the Midwest who are big guys in the industry that don't eat it.
yeah.
And I was at dinner at one of their, I'm not going to say their name because I don't want the drama, but I was at their house having dinner. And one of the siblings kind of exposed them because we were eating like a chili type dinner. And I was over there doing some stuff for work. And I was like, oh, is this venison? It was like chili or whatever. And the daughter was like, ugh. And I looked up and the dad from the people I was with was like, it's good.
Yeah.
Like was kind of like,
Shut up.
yeah. And then I'm like, oh, because there's no sign that I put 2 and 2 together, which I'm not helping the case for hunters here, but there's like standouts like,
Yeah.
what? To me, it shocked me because I'm like, that's all I know.
That's an
from deer
education
hunting.
process that needs to happen with amongst hunters.
Yeah.
Because a lot
That's
of times
all
what
I've
happens
known
is
from since I was a
they
kid.
donate the meat. So let's talk about that part in the positive light. The people that don't know how to cook it usually donate it or give it to somebody who actually knows what the heck they're doing.
Yeah.
And I didn't. So, I got this all the time. Like I do a lot of javelina hunting in Arizona. I guide. It's like probably one of my most popular hunts to guide. We always get like anywhere from 12 to 16 people a season come in for javelina. And javelinas stink, dude. They call them skunk pigs for a reason.
I've heard that.
Okay, and if you do not cook them right, or you don't prepare them right or take care of them right in the field, they taste like they smell. They're freaking rancid. But if you do them right, they're fantastic. It tastes like you went and bought a pork loin from, supermarket.
Right.
Really?
Yeah. So, it took me a long time to kind of figure a lot of that stuff out. But when I did, I was like, man, I make some pretty fantastic meals from
and that's a whole nother episode and
Yes,
just on that topic
sure.
in general. But I don't know where I was going with my example, but it's like, that's all I've done, since I've been hunting. It's like that we've ate it. And like, we just threw a deep freeze in the studio today to throw ground deer in it. And we're going to make, burgers and whatever else is going to be what we eat. I mean, we eat it all the time. That's what we do.
That's awesome.
We grew up eating it. That's all.
But I also think if you donate it, that's okay too.
Yeah, I'm okay with it as long as it's being utilized, because there's a lot of people out there that
Benefit from it.
And the anti-hunting response to that is, they just kill it and they feed it to the homeless people that don't have a better choice. And I was like, it drives me.
I don't know. My whole thing is, it's like, all right, if I'm homeless and can't afford food, would I rather eat canned ravioli or deer chili?
Some deer
chili sounds pretty rad.
Yeah,
it's pretty damn good. But
Deer lasagna, you never know.
well, it's like there's a lot of good state organizations. What's Hush? Hunters Against. Is it Hush? One of the programs in Iowa? Is it Iowa that has Hush?
I'm trying to think of what.
Illinois has a program, and it just depends on like what processes are involved. What's the?
I used to work with an organization that was national called Farmers and Hunter Feeding the Hungry.
Oh yeah. What is it? What the hell's the
What's
name?
it?
Help us stop hunger.
Help us stop hunger program. Yeah. So that's cool. That's neat. So we had a guy that was on the Matt Ranella train that was in here. Basically wrote us a big email. I think he was a nice guy.
Yeah.
He wanted to come in and talk to. I think he thought he was going to blow our tits off with his hot take.
Yeah.
On how like hunting is bad on social media and blah blah blah.
Sure.
And
I think I listened to that podcast.
yeah, it did well.
Because everybody wants to see a train wreck.
Everyone wants to see a train wreck. Right. But one of his things is
Rubbernecking is a real thing, dude.
for sure. Yeah. And for us, it was like, whatever, I mad respect to the guy for coming here.
Yeah.
I mean, I just think he thought it was going to go different.
Sure.
I think he thought he was going to be like, oh, I see your point.
Yeah.
It's like, well, dude,
Yes.
you're coming in, you're kicking us in the nuts a little bit,
Yep.
Yeah.
But one of his things is like, oh yeah, guys think they're donating meat and they're doing the act of God. I'm like, well, that's also good.
Right?
Would you rather them just throw the deer in the ditch?
Right?
Well, it's like guys are playing the point system and drawing tags on elk in multiple states. I'm like,
Yeah. That whole thing, people whining about opportunity and people having more opportunity than other people. It's the same people that are like, must be nice.
Must be nice, yeah.
Yeah.
It must be nice.
But according to him,
They're like, okay.
we should never elk hunt because we don't
live in a state where elk live.
No. That means
crazy.
I should never whitetail hunt.
Yeah.
Well, we got them in Iowa now.
I'm going to Michigan tomorrow.
Right.
But tonight, actually.
Well, it was just a weird thing. I just really think he thought that was going to go differently.
Right.
But also, too, I respect him as a person. He drove here from Chicago area suburbs to do it.
Okay.
Like, that's cool.
Yeah.
Kudos. But
I mean, I probably wouldn't go have a beer with him at the bar tomorrow or whatever, but I think he means well from his perspective.
I get it. I've actually looked at it and it's like looking at communism. No, I mean, in a way, like
Sorry to laugh.
No, it's funny because I meant it to be funny.
You didn't laugh,
but
I laughed.
But it's like, it seems like, everybody's on a level playing field, whatever. But when you really look at it, it's like, no, I mean, that's not the way this country's ran. Like, you work hard, you get this. And that's communism. But for what he's saying, it's like, if we crawl back in a corner, we kind of touched on this a little bit. We crawl back in a corner. That's what the anti-hunters want us to do. They want us to be recluse. They want us to be in the shadows.
Hunting to never be seen anywhere.
Right. Yeah. Because it makes their job easier to keep working the arena of public perception. 10 years ago, I think we were at like 85% approval, something like that for hunting. Now we're at 74% approval for hunting for meat.
In 10 years, it dropped 10%.
First off, that whole what do you call it, statistic, it doesn't sit well with me, because I told you earlier there's 5% anti-hunting, 5% hunting, right? So 75%, there should only be...
It says 70, yeah, you're right on, 76 of Americans approve of legal hunting.
76%? I thought it was 74. Okay, say 76%. So 24%, that means 24% of people are against you hunting for meat. There's only...
Which is insane.
There's only 4% of Americans that identify as vegetarian, and only 1% identify as vegan. And I know for a fact, I've met people that not all vegans and not all vegetarians are against hunting.
Right. I've met vegans that are...
There's some people that just do it because they feel like it's the healthy choice for them.
Yeah.
Simple as that. Hey, they don't have a so, but let's just go with that 5%. If 5%, there should only be 5% of people that are standing up on their soapbox and have a moral problem with you hunting for meat. That means that 21%, or you said 76, so 5 minus 24, there's 19%, if my math is right. That means that 19% of Americans are eating meat and are not okay with you going to shoot something to bring meat home for you. Not okay with you procuring your own meat. That to me is so hypocritical. That's the same person that's going to take a selfie with their freaking burger in the restaurant, or
post their food.
That's the most hypocritical.
Like post their steak dinner on Instagram, and then be like, "You're killing a deer and you're going to eat it."
That's
disgusting,
insane,
right?
Yeah, it's so insane.
That to me is just my mind blows up. Like I don't even know what to do with that.
I don't know how to understand
what do you do with that?
That's an off the wall.
Like, how can you change that person's?
Yeah,
they're just.
I don't know. I think sometimes you just call people a loss, and those guys are. But maybe not.
But that's
totally.
a big chunk. That's
a big chunk.
19% is a big chunk. Like in the grand scheme of things,
it's a concerning amount.
Well, I always joke, like, you always see the comment like, "Why don't you just go to the grocery store and get your?"
Yeah, why can't you be like some?
We always joke
why
about
can't
it,
you be a normal person?
people
Go
think
get
like
meat.
You know that's animal meat as well.
Yeah.
Like that was
a life.
That animal died.
That was a life.
From what?
Yeah.
Well, so this is a good time to give my example. One of my best friends lives in the city in Columbus. His wife was full-blown vegan for years. And her and I think she's a great person, whatever, but her and I couldn't disagree on more shit.
Right.
I come in, I'm just like, I avoided topics with her because I knew it would make me and my buddy's friendship uncomfortable. And I've been friends with them forever, best friends with them forever. She's vegan. She would come to, when they would visit, come to our house, and she would actually eat meat if it was 100% venison with no additives, because she liked the ethical stance of hunting.
Okay.
And so I was shocked that she had the open mind to do it. Well, then like I made something simple like deer chili.
Yeah.
That it's like a great introduction
Sure.
for someone like that to eat. And she was eating the bowl of chili. And it was when I lived in an apartment. I'll never forget this. She goes, "Tell me the story."
Yeah.
And I'm like, "What do you mean?" "Well, tell me the story of this." It was a doe.
Yeah.
Tell me the story. Like, where was it at? How did it happen? Because she liked the fact that it was organically.
She had a connection to it.
She had a connection to it. And I was like, I never thought I'd get her to eat meat in general, and then then be asking me the story. It's like, I want to know the background if I'm eating this. Like, so I'm like,
that's perfect point. So we always walk around with this defeatist, like I gave you the shit part of what's going on, right? But we have the power. We have the ability to change people's perspective on it all. Anti-hunters are doing it with their propaganda. We have to, there's, like I said earlier, there's, 14 to 16 million of us. If we talk to 2 people a year in 10 years, just cowboy math right there. I don't know, I'm making shit up, but
Yeah, cowboy math is awesome.
we're and I say that I'm a cowboy, but from Brooklyn, New York, even though I've been living in Arizona since 1991.
I love it. It's such a contradiction.
I'm a rhinestone cowboy.
I can still hear the accent.
The accent is still there, yeah.
It took a little bit to catch it.
Oh, wait, it gets worse when I start talking about New York. But so, we can change those people's minds.
Yeah.
That's what we want. And I've been trying to do this like with like reels and stuff like that, and hope that because reels can transcend your, echo chamber, so to speak. And I've done stuff like that where they've gone, I don't know if they're really considered viral if they get, 50, 60,000 views, but
like outside the hunting community.
It gets outside the hunting community and people watch it and they're like, oh, okay, cool. So the idea here is, and the same thing like what we're doing in Colorado, is we want people to get the knowledge and get, because they don't have to be hunters. We don't want to convert them to hunters. Hell, half of us don't want any more competition than we already have. Right. But we want them to be sympathetic to us. We want them to understand what's going on and see the benefits and so on and so forth. So if we educate ourselves and we go out and we have these conversations, and even if we don't want to be like, hey, know the ins and outs of conservation. Hey, like, listen, I'm not the most intelligent guy. I don't speak very eloquently. And like
doing
you said,
good job to me.
You heard my Brooklynese, right? So, and no offense to my Brooklynites, but if I have a conversation with somebody and I share the human values of what hunting is to me, and I give them my why. If I think about what the 30-second, 45-second spiel is on what my why is, and I'm able to share that with somebody, that somebody might leave and be faced with a ballot initiative or see something that could affect hunting, and then be like, you know what? I remember talking to John, and he seemed like a cool guy, and he gave me this information. I'm going to look a little bit harder into this, or I'm not going to vote on this negatively. I'm just going to go ahead and,
right.
Because
John's cool and they know you and they know you like it. And
so if you talk to people at work, you talk to people that you run into, even strangers. Like I can't tell you how many times I remember I've used this example several times, but I was in this like workout class thing, and it was me in my late 40s and all these like 18 to 23-year-old guys, So we walked in there. I was in there working out, and everybody walked in. I got there early, and I forgot who I was talking to. One of the guys knew that I was a bow hunter, and he's like, "Oh yeah, John bow hunts and blah 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 blah." So it kind of opened the door, and I had the ear of these 15 kids, and I'm like, "So I got to ask you, how many of you guys know where the money comes from, and how conservation works, how wildlife management works?" All of them raised their hand. They're like, and this guy was like, "Oh, my taxes, my taxes, my taxes, my taxes." So they didn't know.
Right.
And I had the opportunity to educate them. And, so my whole point is like, you don't know who you're talking to. If you give them a positive interaction, there's a really good book by this guy, Brandt. He wrote a book called The Shotgun Conservationist. And in that book, he gives this example of an interaction he had in Jersey, that one of the first times he went hunting, he went with another guy that was kind of like a mentor. And this lady was yelling at him because they were, hunting back east. You hunt in these like blocks that are like in between houses and shit. It's crazy. Yeah, when I hunt in Long Island, it's nuts. I got like $1 million homes on, 100 yards in like every direction. But and she's like, "Oh, you guys are trespassing," and she was like yelling and da da da. He went over there and he explained to her. He's like, "No, actually, this is public land," and he gave her a really positive interaction. And when she left that conversation, she was like, "Okay, hunters not all law-breaking, evil people." So it's like you got to have this mindset, have this thought. That's our only way that we have 16, 14 million, whatever it is. We have this army of people. Now, not all of us are equipped. There are some portions of our ranks that probably
shouldn't
be doing it.
just like society in general.
Right. But there's, there's always
There's a lot of people you wouldn't pick to meet aliens first.
Right.
You know,
there's going to be but for the majority of us, the vast majority of us, we have the ability to leave a positive imprint in the people that we meet. And when we do things and when we post things and when we talk, if we think about hunting as a whole first, we're going to be better off.
Definitely.
it's great point, man. It's it's something that we all need to be thinking about.
I'll be honest, need to be thinking about it a lot more.
I'll be honest. I feel guilty that I'm not a member. I get all the Howl emails. So maybe I am signed up as a free member.
The free membership, you'll get just the emails. Mm-hmm.
So that's what I got. I am a member of Pope and Young Club. I've been a member of that since 2009. And I know that helps.
So the cool thing about that is we have partnerships with Pope and Young and American Bear Foundation. Let's say you want to be, you don't have the money right now, whatever. You can buy the Pope and Young membership or the American Bear Foundation membership through us. It's $45 if you go to them, and it's $45 if you come to us. But if you come through us, we split that $45.
Really?
And you get both memberships.
That's awesome.
You get a Howl membership and a Pope and Young, or a Howl membership and an American Bear. Go Hunt is one of our partners. They've been amazing. What they do is they give us 50% of the sale. So again, if you go to Go Hunt to buy an elite membership, or oh my God, my brain's not working already now. You buy their top membership. It's, I think, $129. And, you get all the features and benefits. Then you get the Howl membership included, plus additional benefits from Go Hunt, like 15% to shop in their store. There's an extra giveaway thing that you're part of, and they give 50%.
That's awesome.
So
that's
it
awesome.
costs you the same amount of money as if you would have went to them, but you got it through us.
So something I want to add to the Pope and Young thing. So I've been a measurer and a member since I was 19, 2009-ish. I got a call last night. This is a little teaser. The Pope and Young biannual Pope and Young convention is going to be in Phoenix in 25.
That's what I heard.
In April. We potentially will update everybody. We might be podcasting there.
Okay.
At the convention.
Fantastic.
I've never been to a Pope and Young convention. Just the timing never worked out. But our goal is to go and podcast and do all that. And the convention's open to the public, but if you want to come to the events, you have to be a member of the Pope and Young Club. So just join Howl and Pope and Young through this
to win-win,
and then come hang out with us in Phoenix in April.
Yeah,
and we'll have a party.
When you guys come, I want to see if you guys can come and have you guys on my show.
Yeah, let's do it. That'd be awesome. Yeah, that would be really cool. Or maybe we just do something there.
Yeah, I could bring podcasting equipment down. I got mobile set up.
Whatever we got to do.
Sure.
Because that's what we'll have. The same setup, you know? So that'd be cool. But we don't know for sure. I think we're going to try and make that happen. I've always wanted to go. Nice. We got some great friends.
I'll tell you what, that's in April though. I was going to say, if you guys could come down in February, maybe we could take you javelina hunting.
Oh, shit.
We have so much shit going on.
Yeah, but I want that.
I do want that too.
It's 3 days.
Honestly,
that
sounds awesome.
3 days, we could put you in for the rifle season, and we'll go bow hunting during the rifle season. And if the last day you don't get one with the bow, we can switch to the rifle. And we can go find one.
Then knock out a couple podcasts while we're there on each person's side.
Sure.
Each show.
Yeah.
That's what I love about hunting, man. It's like, that's one thing, outsiders don't understand. It's like when everyone that comes here, like, we built this to be comfortable. So everyone that comes here, it's like, I've never met you until today.
Yeah.
Right. We've emailed a little bit, but not enough to
Yeah, we never even talked on the phone.
never. Legitimately hey man, I'm coming in. Cool. It's going to be fun. And here we are having this conversation's easy.
Yep.
And that's one thing. I don't know. I'm sure there's other subcultures of people and passions where that happens, but it's I just have a hard time believing people who are passionate about tennis have this, type of
same connection,
camaraderie.
They do.
I hope they do.
I think they do.
That's what I want for those people, you know.
Yeah,
but like, do
it's
they?
definitely a different vibe, I'm sure. Right. I doubt they're drinking, Bush Lights and shit. But
That's
Ultras for sure.
hey, ultras are good. But I'll tell you what. I guess my one takeaway is we do need to be more involved, and
Yes.
I always feel more guilty that I'm not. And two, I need to go to like if hunters went to a Comic-Con convention and just got everybody to sway in favor of like being cool about hunting, like that's probably where all the weird, weirdos in a good way, like or
if
maybe
we
not.
had that, like I said, it goes back to the hunters or suck in a way. We would never lose a single thing. Like, all right, let's just take Howl For Wildlife as it is. And I told you earlier, we've been able to move mountains with thousands of people. Could you imagine if 14 million people were members of Howl For Wildlife, and every time there was anything that popped up, all 14
Nobody would
million?
It'd be
touch it.
It would never, ever, ever, ever. Like every politician would be like, whoa.
Yeah.
They don't want that mess.
right.
No, what the hell?
See, do you think this is something to bring up before we get out of here? So there's been some other organizations. All right, I don't know a lot about them. Okay, I'm just gonna say some shit, and maybe I'll regret it. Okay, all right, but it's just candid. What?
Just the way you said it.
Well, it's honest.
Yes. Yes.
Like I'm not making it up to sound
Right.
cooler than I am. I'm just laying it out. Like it's just what it is. BHA was like loud and proud for a long time. And you saw the BHA pipe nights and all the stuff,
Sure.
all this stuff. And I always had this like reservation of like, I don't know about them for some reason. And I always heard rumblings of like, it was a green decoy organization. I was just talking to somebody. I'm like, I haven't heard about BHA in a couple years.
So the this is from what I know. And I was on the green decoy bandwagon for a long time. And I still think to an extent that the national organization had a lot of troubles and they made some adjustments. But the state level and the local chapters, they're awesome guys.
Yes.
They're awesome guys and they get involved. Like every time we have something that pops up, the BHA local chapters are the first ones to kind of like pick up the torch and run with it. Nationally, they have this like, it's only about public access thing. So they don't really get involved in other things, but the chapters kind of have free reign to do what the hell they want. They don't have to really.
Okay.
So they'll pick up, more.
I see.
Conservation and more. That's why people thought they were green decoys, because they only got involved when it was like an access thing. And they got involved in stuff that was access purely for access and not for hunting. Like,
I see.
Okay, they're stopping access to this, da 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 da. Well, we don't hunt in that place.
Yeah.
So, and we can't hunt in that place. So like hunters, why are we advocating for this?
Right.
It makes sense when you break it down that way, because it's like the local chapters, if you will. It's like you don't know who's in the chapter and whose voice gets perceived to like give the whole organization a bad look. Because I think I just remember a lot of negative stuff coming around the last election for Trump. I don't remember, I'm busy.
Yeah,
whatever, but you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
It got weird.
Lantani was the president, and he got kicked out because I think, and I don't know if we should say this on the podcast.
But I brought up something slippery. Maybe I didn't know. That's why I gave my.
He got ousted. He got ousted for.
Okay.
For
whatever he got.
I'll share it with you afterwards.
People can look it up.
Yeah. They can look it up for themselves. But I think when that regime got taken out, it kind of fixed a lot of the issues.
But they're still around.
Oh yeah,
because
they're strong. Yeah, they're still very strong.
See, I feel that maybe that's a good example of like I have my pulse on a lot of things, but
that's why a lot of people are afraid of us. At first, I think because of BHA.
Well, that was my point of bringing it up.
Yeah,
it's like
and we have Howl For Wildlife. We did that on purpose. Like we kind of wanted to slide underneath the radar of the anti-hunters. We didn't want to slide underneath the hunters radar, but it was like, hey, one, the anti-hunters co-opted the wolf as their mascot. We wanted to take that back.
Yeah.
You know, why is the biggest alpha predator your mascot? Like,
Right.
no.
What the hell?
Yeah.
That doesn't
yeah.
make any sense.
We're the alpha predators.
Right,
not
yeah.
you.
Yeah, we're the dogs. I mean,
We're the real dogs.
how did that go for Colorado? Because I heard all the wolves are gone already.
Well,
but I don't know if that's true. Or
It's not going well for them. It's a shit show.
Well, it's a mess in general, right?
Yeah, it is.
That's a whole nother podcast,
and
probably.
everybody who was in the know and all the science behind it said it was going to be. But, I mean, nobody wanted to give them wolves. That's why it took them so long to get it. And when Oregon finally said, we're going to give you wolves, they gave them their problem childs. They captured the ones that were causing problems in Oregon.
Oh,
You think
shit.
they're not going to cause problems in Colorado?
Yeah.
Yeah, it was pretty
Once a dog, always a dog.
Yeah.
Right, Doug?
Hell yeah.
so.
Yeah, okay. That's a whole nother podcast. Man, I did enjoy this. I think it's
Yeah.
very
This is good.
insightful. I think it's very thought-provoking. It's something, I wouldn't say it's a type of episode that we don't normally do, but we don't ever touch politics, but when it comes to politics and hunting, we should touch it more.
Sure.
We
Yeah.
definitely should do it.
I mean,
more.
honestly,
be in the
I'm
know,
tired
at
of hearing
least.
myself talk about it. I'd much rather talk about tactics and how to hunt and where to hunt and stories and all that stuff. But it's
How about this?
something-
Next episode we do, we'll promise you that.
Oh, okay, cool. Thanks. No, but I think it's really important. I really want people, those people listening in on this. And I don't know that I did a good job of persuading
think you
people
did.
But yeah, you did a great job.
because I kept going off on tangents. But
Well, that's what
we're
it's
really
conversation.
all in this together, and we really need to, start thinking about that. Like, we need to stop meing and thinking about the guy across state lines,
The bigger picture. Yeah.
the bigger picture, because
Yeah.
anti-hunters, they have no problem locking arms. We went to, I don't know how many different meetings this year, and it would be like a mountain lion thing, and Project Coyote would show up to talk. Okay, your coyote thing. Why are you talking about mountain lions?
Mm-hmm.
And they're all organized. They all say the same things. They all, it's very, very organized, and they're in lockstep, and they have no problem. Their main goal is to get rid of hunting.
Yeah.
They don't want to see hunting anymore. Real quick, like we saw in Oregon, they came up with a proposition IP3, and that was literally getting rid of all animal husbandry. You couldn't even clip your dog's damn toenails. Like, it was super egregious. No ranching, no nothing like that. And that to me is the writing on the wall.
Yeah.
That's their end
For them
goal.
to even try.
It's like they threw it out here. Let's see.
See what happens.
Testing the waters.
And they got a lot of signatures. I mean, they didn't
Shit.
get enough to get it on the ballot, but
Yeah.
they got a lot of signatures. Like, hey,
It's crazy.
if they're trying that, that's what their end goal is.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
For sure.
And so if you can't keep that in your mind, eventually it's going to end up on your doorstep. It's like that old saying, at first they came for, mountain lion hunting, and I wasn't a mountain lion hunter, so I didn't get involved. And then they came for elk hunting, and I wasn't an elk hunter, so I didn't get involved. But then they came for deer hunting, and there was nobody left there to help me.
Right.
So
Remind everybody again on the ballot, if you're in Colorado, what are they looking for?
vote no on 127. And there's actually a positive ballot right now. If you're in Florida and you're listening to this, Florida right now is trying to pass a right to hunt and fish and put it in their state constitution. And it's proposition number 2. So that's a yes. You want to vote yes on proposition number 2 because that enshrines hunting and fishing as a right. It's not a right. It's only a right in, I think, 13 states. Might be 23 states. I don't know. I don't remember.
Really?
It's not a right in all the states.
I never thought about it that way.
I didn't either.
It's not a right here.
No.
Illinois, you could lose this like that.
Yeah, Chicago wants to fuck
What
it.
about Iowa?
I don't know. I'd have to look.
I hope it is.
I hope it is.
Well,
we should know that.
Yeah, we should know that.
If it's not,
That shows you how much we don't know.
well, if it's not, we just ensure that
We could
it
all
is.
make it happen.
Strengthen numbers, baby.
So that's
Yeah.
that's part of what I would love to see, especially in the states that have hunting in a real positive place right now. That's
that's where you can get it.
don't be complacent in the fact that it's because it could change. Look at Montana, look at, Arizona, not even 10 years ago was super red state. Now it's purple. Okay. A lot of people moved from California. And it's funny because they left
California.
They left California, Illinois too. I had a lot of Chicago people, but they left because of politics, and then they bring politics to the state.
That's what's like I love about Rogan going to Texas, and in him with his voice.
Yeah.
Don't move to Texas and vote the same way you voted in California.
Right.
What the fuck are you trying to get done?
Yeah.
Right.
Why are you voting the same way for the land you left? Like,
Why'd you move?
Exactly.
It's like, and Illinois is such a tough spot. Like, I'm the only, it's me, Ross, and Austin. I'm the only main host that's an Illinois boy, right?
Yeah.
Like,
you guys are both from Indiana?
They're Iowa boys.
Iowa?
Yeah, 'cause they're right there, you know? So,
Iowa,
but it's like Chicago counties, you know what color those counties are. And then there's Rock Island County, which is just north of us. I think Peoria County. And I think that's probably it in the whole state. I mean, Chicago's big, that are not red.
Right. And honestly, that wasn't a problem for hunting years ago, but blue is no longer Democrat. I think
it's freaky.
It's more liberal than Democrat.
It's liberal, yeah.
And like, you used to be able to sit in a room with a Democratic person. You might disagree about a couple of things and, whatever.
Yeah.
But I think the real true Democrats are center,
sane people. Yeah,
center.
Yeah,
They're not. Yeah. So
I know what you're saying.
I don't even want to kind of say weird stuff.
I'm going to Subaru conventions, dude, and I'm converting people to hunters, man.
I don't think I'm going to be on the board of Howl For Wildlife.
No. I think, dude, it's ultra relatable because here's the thing, and I know you've done a lot of podcasts and whatever, but I truly feel like WCB listeners are the dudes that are at work that don't have time to necessarily think about this because they're working and providing for their families and they're busy. And I think we tap into that because we're reckless and a little wild and drink beer and say fuck and all this stuff. And that's the majority of people who are out there getting it on a day to day. And so I think it's important. I think people will like you, man. I think you relate to. We're cavemen, man, to a point. Like I am. I just know what I am. Oh, fuck. We cut and spit and throw rocks and go hunting.
Nice.
And we need to think about it a little more. But I think everybody's a little guilty of that in some way or another.
Sure.
But dude, I appreciate you.
Oh, thank you for
coming
having
to
me
us.
on. Give me the platform.
I hope this was what you thought it would be.
No, everything. It's awesome.
And next time we won't beat you down with all the political stuff.
Okay. We'll try sticking just hunting stories.
I have a hard time keeping biting my tongue on that stuff.
Well, I think
we'll probably get into it again anyways. But hey.
Well, I think for the introduction to WCB, this is what Hal needed for us and our listeners. So I appreciate you doing what you do and coming to us in studio.
Sure.
That takes a lot of effort to be in person with someone podcasting nowadays. You know what I mean? It's better than Zoom.
Oh yeah, 100%.
And we wish you the best of luck hunting in Michigan.
Yes.
Leaving Illinois to go hunt Michigan's crazy.
That is crazy.
I couldn't figure out where I was going to hunt here.
We need to get some ground locked down.
All my friends that used to have ground here no longer hunt or no longer have ground. I used to hunt with Dale. What the heck is Dale's last name? Oh my God. It's going to bother me. Oh my God. Anyway, he like in COVID, he said he gave up everything. He stopped guiding and everything because
it's cutthroat in Illinois for ground.
Mm-hmm.
So, and he did it for like 30 years or something like that.
Sheesh.
And so I was like, I got invited to go actually to Iowa and maybe even Indiana, but Artem Rank is my buddy that lives in Michigan, and he's been telling me to come up, and he's always whacking freaking awesome deer. So
he just shot us.
The one you showed us, he's a stud.
So he's got a pretty cool YouTube channel. So we're gonna film a little hunt. And
what's his YouTube?
Oh my God, what the heck is the name of his YouTube? I'm gonna look that up real quick.
Yeah, do it. Sorry,
Call him out.
I'll put you on the spot. No, I thought this was a fun episode, man. It definitely.
I think it'll definitely open up a lot of listeners' eyes too.
Needed. And by the way, hunting mountain lions is really fun, and the meat's really good. So if you've ever wanted to do it and do it in Colorado, or if you live in Colorado, have never done it, pay attention because the meat is excellent.
The meat, mountain lion meat is fantastic.
It's like lean pork loin.
You probably don't have service.
I got zero service.
Oh. My bad.
Give him your phone, Doug.
Was it on YouTube?
Yeah, look up Artem Rank. ARTOMRANK.
Kurt's got a computer in front of him. Could've
Yeah,
just
there
done
you go.
that.
There you go. Computer. That's the best way to do it.
Yeah, what am I doing?
What's his name? How do you spell it?
ARTOM. It's actually pronounced Ortum.
RANK.
Yep. Yeah. Oh, there you go.
Oh, that's Artem
Rank.
Rank. Cool.
Oh, that's his page.
Yep.
Sweet. Here. I'll subscribe.
Well, he's got like a show.
Oh,
Tagged Out Outdoors. That's it.
Okay. Well, I think I subscribed to somebody else.
Tagged Outdoors Media.
I subscribed to the wrong guy.
That's it. right
Tagged Outdoors Media. Subscribe.
there. Yeah,
you
he guides like duck hunters and stuff.
Okay.
Great kid.
Cool.
Awesome.
Yeah.
Cool, man. Well, I appreciate you. Where can people find you? We'll link as much as I can that we talked about in the episode description.
Okay. Well, definitely go to Howl For Wildlife. So howlforwildlife.org. And for myself personally, it's, like on Instagram, it's just John Stallone. And if you type John Stallone in YouTube, you find me. I'm pretty much everywhere, but I've been doing this shit for a really long time.
You're an OG.
Yeah,
He's a real OG.
The OG.
I got a couple of books out there, all that magazine articles.
Cool. You got it all, dude.
Yeah.
Video hunter, TV hunter, podcaster, writer, activist.
Yeah, that's it.
That's a dangerous word, huh?
It is. It's a dirty word. you know?
Because of liberals, it sounds bad.
You know how much pushback we got from hunters on that?
Because the word
we said
activist.
activist. That's a word that the libtards use.
Yeah.
Dude, no.
Come on.
If you want to save shit, you got to be active.
Right,
you got to be. You got to be an activist. You got to love what you're doing.
Activist is art to us as trophy hunting is to anti-hunter.
That's
Right.
that's a good point. Yeah.
It is.
All right.
All right. Thanks
Dude,
a lot.
appreciate
guys.
you so much. Doug, you look great. What do you got to close with?
Thanks for coming. Good luck in Michigan. And I like what you said about the 14 million hunters. If you just talk to one or two people,
Yep.
what the word could spread. So
Convert one
if you're at a
Subaru
bar,
driver at a
if
time.
you're at a bar, just convince someone that hunting's good.
It's huge. It's powerful. Listen, you don't have to convert them into hunters. You just need to have them understand that what we do is not just go out there and lop shit off heads off and
That's right.
leave things out in the
If
woods.
you're just a really cool person as a hunter, you too could convert one Subaru driver at a time.
Yeah, exactly.
You never know.
Eric?
No, thanks for coming, man. Yeah, good luck in Michigan. Everyone go check out Howl For The Wildlife, man.
Thank you.
Cool.
Appreciate it.
Thanks, everyone. Everything will be linked in the episode description. You know what to do. Go shoot your bow. We love you. Peace.